Hi, welcome to Shirley's cooking channel. Today we're making paella with scallops. It's a recipe that you can easily make at home. And the paella will taste so nice that you can definitely use it to impress your family or guests. Here are all the ingredients that we're going to need. First, take about 15 scallops. Pat them dry. Here we're just using frozen ones and they work very nicely. Sprinkle them with salt and black pepper. Heat up some olive oil in a pan. We're using some fancy type. It's probably the fanciest of all of our ingredients. You don't have to, but be sure to find some good quality olive oil. When the oil is hot, pull in the scallops one by one. Pan fry each side for a couple of minutes over high heat to sear the surface. You don't have to cook it through because we'll steam them with our paella later. When both sides of the scallops have turned golden, pick them up and set them aside. Next, we take about a quarter of a chorizo sausage and cut it into cubes. We're using a Portuguese peri-peri or chili sausage, which we got from a supermarket in Macau. You know, the place with lots of casinos. Stir-fry the chorizo over low heat. Let them sizzle slowly in the pan for a few minutes to render the fat a bit. In the meantime, we can prepare our veg. Mince half a large onion or use a whole one if it's medium-sized. Take half a red bell pepper and dice it into small cubes. Take about 1/3 of a green bell pepper. Also dice it into small cubes. Here you go. While we do our chopping, we should return to our pan from time to time to stir the chorizo around, so they don't get burned. Finally, finely chop a tomato to add some refreshing sourness. By now, the chorizo should have turned into a golden brownish red color, and a lot of its fat would have been rendered out. Throw in our onion and red and green peppers. Stir fry over medium heat until the onions turn translucent. At this point, add in the tomato and keep stir frying over medium heat. Squeeze out about 1 tablespoon of tomato puree and add that into the mixture. The tomato puree gives it a nice concentrated tartness and fruitiness. Now we get 1 tablespoon of paprika and mix in a teaspoon of smoked paprika. You don't have to use a lot of smoked paprika, it's pretty strong stuff. We also need to mince 5 or 6 cloves of garlic. Scatter the paprika mixture over our stir fry and mix well. Then add in the garlic. Stir fry until you smell the garlicky fragrance. At this point, your kitchen should smell very nice. Then we pour in our rice, about 1 cup. Mix until the grains are well mixed in and evenly colored. We're just using some long grain Thai jasmine rice because it will be fine. But traditionally, you should use short grain varieties commonly found in Spain and Italy, like Spanish bomba rice or Italian arborio rice. If you're not sure which type you should get, just grab some risotto rice. After the rice is well mixed in, prepare about 2.5 cups of chicken stock. Turn the heat to high and pour in our stock. You can also just use water. It'll take away some flavor, but the paella will still taste very nice. Then add in 3 tablespoons of white wine. We're using the cheapest sort we found in a neighborhood supermarket. It cost about $5 but tastes pretty decent. After stirring them around a little bit, it's time to taste for salt. Always add salt in little by little and keep tasting. Because if it's not salty enough, you can always add more. But if it's too salty, you can't take the salt out. After about 8 to 9 minutes of bubbling over high heat, you see the liquid has reduced like this. Now turn the heat down to low. Then cover the pan with tin foil or a lid that fits. Let it steam for about 5 minutes or until the paella looks fairly dry on top. Now pop the scallops back in. And then put the lid back on. Continue to steam it over low heat for another 2 minutes. While our paella is steaming, let's mince a bunch of coriander for garnish. You can keep its root in the fridge to dry it out. Dried coriander root can add a lot of fragrance to a range of recipes, especially Chinese ones, like chili oil, red braised beef, and spicy chicken. 2 minutes later, keep the lid on and turn the heat back to high for 1 minute. It's to create a nice charred bottom. Now turn off the heat and remove the lid. The steam and fragrance will burst out. Sprinkle the chopped coriander on top. And we're done. Scallops paella. Its bright red color is so appetizing. And look at this beautiful golden char. Yum, yum, yum.
Let's just have a look. Oh.
Eee, disgusting.
Hey, you could film this.
What?
Go on.
Well, I haven't finished cutting it.
Oh, I see. Well, that's quite funny.
Why?
When you put it, if you film yourself putting it onto the table like that, you could insert a sound effect where something goes boom. You've shown this to the camera?
Yes.
Okay, because that's another fancy thing. Everything else we've got is sort of cheap and nasty. Do you want to show people what nasty and cheap we've got?
I have shown.
How much was it?
$38.
It's actually rather good for that.
Really?
Very good for that, yeah.
Oh.
If you got one for 100 or 120 or something, you would expect it to taste like that.